How do we stay motivated in an era of social media and butt implants? That is today's topic on another rousing RealToughCandy live stream. Welcome everyone. Day 12, day 13 of consecutive live streams. I've been almost doing them 2 weeks now. Really exciting. New crowd every night. Lots of energy in the live chat. We're going to talk about 9 strategies and some bonuses that can help you stay motivated and stay focused. Now, of course, we got to start these streams off with a little bit of self-promotion. In CandyScript, which is my Teespring store, I have mugs, I have stickers, and I have t-shirts. This is one of the designs. I did it all for the JavaScript. Got so motivated, I broke the handle. Thick old stickers. And of course, what wardrobe would be complete without a heather gray t-shirt? How's everyone doing? We're going to do a roll call, take a little sip, and we're going to talk about it. It's hard to stay motivated. It is hard to stay motivated as a self-taught web developer, but it is possible. Losing motivation is so very easy. There are so many distractions. IT Contractors Union, what? Jeff Grinley, how goes it? Sammy Turner, welcome. David Guillory, Tech Rally, hey, good to see you guys. All right, let's get this organized here. So, as you know, this is a very interactive chat. Would love to hear what you all have to say about it. In my hand, I have a list of 9 strategies that actually work to stay motivated, whether you're a developer or just stumbled upon this live stream. First off, does anyone know what this book is? Eat the Frog by the one and only Brian Tracy. This guy is a master of motivation. This book was actually recommended to me by Paradoodly-Doo, our mod at large. Shout out to Paradoodly. I believe she referred to me as a swamp doodle in the chat. I'll let it slide. But this is a book. I had a supervisor in the military who swore by Brian Tracy. This guy was like the best supervisor. And I've had a lot of them, but this guy was on another level. This guy was on another level, and he recommended Brian Tracy. I thought he was full of it. It wasn't until Paradoodly-Doo said, RTC, check out Brian Tracy. This is called Eat That Frog, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. This is one of the few books that delivers on the title. Like, this book is 124 pages. As you can see, double-spaced for his benefit, I'm sure, because otherwise this book would be like 40 pages. But really, just going through it, you're going to find a strategy here that works for you. In fact, you might use all 21 of them. For example, let me go to the index here, or the table of contents. One of the techniques he mentions is plan every day in advance. Apply the 80-20 to everything. Consider the consequences. Upgrade your key skills. Motivate yourself. Get out of technological time sinks. Like, this is not a book to be taken lightly. This is not a casual read, and this book could change your life. I heard of Brian Tracy quite a long time ago. A previous life I heard of this guy, but it wasn't until recently where an up-and-coming aspiring developer, Paradoodly, said, check out Eat the Frog. And this is Brian Tracy, and it's just like, you know, he looks like a normal guy, but what he talks about, essentially, Eat That Frog refers to getting the worst thing done about your day in the earliest part. You wake up, you have that sense of existential dread. You have a sense of 9 to 5 dread. You're feeling dreadful, right? So what he's saying is, eat that frog. Get the worst part of your day out of the way early on, so you have the rest of the day to bang out these other tasks. So if the most challenging part of your day is writing emails to people, get up, drink your coffee, drink your energy, drink and eat whatever you do, and crank out those emails. Just get it out of the way. That is the biggest, perhaps the biggest takeaway of this book. Paradoodly, I want to hear your opinion because you're the one who told me about this. You're the one who said, you planted the seed of Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. I want to hear your take on this because it does seem like just the cover art and like everything just seems like just another motivational book. Like, yeah, good one. We've seen hundreds of them, but this one really, it really stands out. I highly recommend this. Every chapter is actionable, and that's what I'm all about. Real world actionable. This isn't like, have you considered, oh my gosh, every blog post, I don't care where it is, personal blog site, Medium, even videos, it's just like, have you considered meditation? Like, most of us have heard that a million times, like literally a million times over. And meditation is a good technique. It doesn't necessarily make you more productive, but meditation is always helpful. Like just a blanket statement. Meditation is good for the body and soul, but at the same time, it's like, I need something a little more concrete. Brian Tracy is that guy. Let's see what we're seeing in the comments here. People who have read this book. Paradoodly, thanks for the link, dropping that. Brian Tracy is very awesome. It really holds you accountable, so only read it if you're ready to get serious. Dang, Paradoodly dude, them's fighting words. I like how you said Brian Tracy is very awesome. Jeff Greenlee says, just put a digital copy on hold at my library app. Yeah. That's also true. I mean, this is the type of book that you will find in a library if someone hasn't stolen it. In my history of using the library, the only thing that was ever consistently stolen was, what's that movie, the mockumentary about the rock band from the 80s? These ones go to 11. That movie was consistently stolen from every library I ever went to. And so I made it a habit of like, I wonder if they have that movie. And it's totally escaping me. If you can't afford this book, this belongs on a bookshelf, IMHO. But if you can't, check out your library or library app, as Jeff has done. Hassan, what's up? Janos. Hello, Donovan. Back in the live. Great seeing some folks. Great seeing some people here who are on the lives. It's good to see some familiar faces and some new people too. Welcome. Hernan, hello. Greetings from Argentina. Hello. Troy, what's up? Gabe the Fifth. Bop, I made it. Steins Gates. Hello, 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 hello. 29 people in the chat. Thank you for joining us. We're going over strategy number 1. Strategy number 1 is grab this book. But if books aren't your thing, don't worry, because I have 8 other strategies. Paradoodly swears by this book. And now that I have it in my greasy little paws, I get to swear by it. All right. Number 2. You ready for this one? You're feeling demotivated. You're feeling bored. You're feeling like you can't code another line. You're feeling sick. You're wondering, is this career field even for me? And I want to mention, there are a lot of different things that can make you feel demotivated or just not feel. I mean, maybe you're just not feeling it. Maybe something's just a little too tough. It's just a little too much. Maybe you're just having a bad day. Maybe it seems just completely overwhelming. There are so many reasons where you can feel demotivated. And one of the worst things that can happen is that demotivation turns into you turning away from tech. I really don't like when I see that. It's really sad to see, because people, it's not that they don't like tech, it's just that they feel overwhelmed and they just, it's just easier to stay where they are in their current position where they're not very happy with their life, but they feel demotivated consistently and they turn away from it. And those stories make me not happy. It's kind of depressing. And it isn't to say, this is another thing too, when you're feeling demotivated and you don't feel like working, you don't have to. Because if you keep pushing yourself day after day, you know what happens? Burnout. Burnout victim right here. And I'm that type of personality to keep pushing until I can't physically do it anymore. I've been training myself to listen more to the signs and signals that I need to slow down with my workload and with my ideas and putting those into action. Because burnout, I mean, it can really It can literally kill you. It's not good. With all the stress and anxiety and all that stuff that comes with it. So let's talk about something a little less heavy here. This is more of a, I wouldn't call this a strategy, actually, to be honest. This is more of just a simple trick. If you have work that you're working on your local machine and you don't need the internet, go right over here, click that thing, click that little Wi-Fi button and turn it off. Because if you're working on a project or you're studying something and you don't need the internet, turn it off. The only thing this is telling me right now is that I have the entire web available to me and I'm going to get distracted. You know what? I follow 4 people on Twitter. 2 of them are Google. It's Real Casadero, Lucen Mendel, and 2 Google Webmaster accounts. Webmaster related. That's it. That's it. And I still find myself going to that frickin' site multiple times a day, hoping someone liked my post. Like, seriously? Am I not above that? I guess not. So I'm trying to train myself in various ways to go there less because it is a time sink. And one of those things I do, and I've done in the past, is if I'm working locally on my machine, I just turn the internet off. And when I need something, I turn it back on. And when I'm done getting that, I turn it back off. You can have tabs available offline. You could pull up a tab for like MDN or some other documentation. Udemy videos you can download. Niche platform sites like Andre Nagoy, his Zero to Mastery, you can download those videos too. They're all in HD, high def. You can download those and put them locally and you don't need to access the internet for those videos. Again, that's not really a strategy, but that has helped me in the past for any task that I'm working on because the internet is one big distraction. Number 3. This is something actually that I think Brian Tracy talks about in his book, but getting a routine. Strategy number 3, get a routine. Wake up at the same time and have a designated study block. It could be, let's say you work from 9 to 5, have dinner at 6, and then from 7 to 10 p.m., use that block for learning. And after that, no more. Or if you want to go totally bananas on it, once you get home, eat dinner, you could do 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Use those 8 hours and you, of course, take breaks and stuff. But having those blocks helps your mind compartmentalize your day. And that really helps with distractions because your mind is like, no, I'm not going on YouTube to watch funny cat videos. Not guilty. I am actually going to be here right now for this 4-hour block. I'm going to be working on my blog. I'm going to be working on ES6. I'm going to be working on a new boot camp. I'm going to be working on creating a web app. And you can detail your hours, how you want to spend those as you want, but the very minimum, I would say, start blocking your time and keep that routine. I work really well late at night. So my blocks of time generally happen later at night. And I know that's when I excel. And so my mind knows, even when I'm out, even when I'm not working or on vacation, like it gets later, I'm like, my mind tells me to get to work. And I'm saying, no, I'm on vacation and I'm taking a break. But your mind trains itself. Your mind is doing things. It's doing things we don't even know it's doing. Things we don't even consent to. It's weird, right? So the routine thing, and some people work better early in the morning. If you know that works better for you, get in that habit. The more you habitualize these things, the easier they get. And every time it's just like that muscle memory. Your brain and your body is going to expect something at a certain time. We expect dinner at a certain time. We expect breakfast at a certain time. And we should expect our productivity at a certain time, at certain times. And once you make that habitual, it's just so much easier. It's non-cerebral. The hardest thing is, though, this was what I was wondering, like, okay, let's say we get into a routine. The hard part of being self-disciplined is that even if you implement a punishment, let's say like, okay, let's say your goal is to get up at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, but you don't keep that goal. Oops, sorry, I thought my mic fell off. Let's say you don't keep that goal. On a Thursday, you get up at 9. How do you punish yourself? Do you put $10 into a cup? And what happens if you don't? There's no accountability if you break your habit. And this goes into our next strategy. Finding an accountability partner. Finding a mentor. Finding somebody out there who is gonna say, you weren't studying tonight from 7 to 8. How do I know? Because I saw you on the FB. Busted. And that way, that person is a physical reality in your life and can hold you accountable. If you're looking for an accountability partner, check my Discord. If you don't know where to go, check my Discord. Paradoodly, please pop the link for the Discord server. We have getting close to 1,000 members in the Discord. A lot of fun new arrivals. We have some people who have been there for years. People who have been there for a few months. All abilities are welcome. We have people who have been in the industry for decades. We have people who have barely started learning HTML. And a lot of people in between there. So if you have no idea where to find someone to hold you accountable, check the RTC Discord. Andre Nego's Discord is absolutely insane with a lot of people. Like, he encourages people to find study buddies too, and that really emphasizes that accountability. Whether you're just needing someone to send you a DM at a certain time, like, hey, I know I'm like an at-risk youth at like 8 p.m. Can you please DM me at 7:55 and remind me that I need to be studying JavaScript? You guys don't have to be BFFs or anything like that. It's a strategic platonic relationship where someone else has that physical presence, even if you never see them. But they exist in the world, and they're there to tell you to get your butt in gear and go do it. It really helps. And especially when it comes to, maybe you could even work out a plan like, if I'm not doing XYZ at a certain time, I want you to, put me on blast in front of everyone in the Discord or something. Like, have some sort of negative thing happen. Not drastic, but something that's uncomfortable. Something maybe like some social shaming or something. If you're feeling bold and you really want to keep to your schedule, you really want to stay motivated. Because most people, in Minnesota, we have these things, we call them Dewey plates. So if you get a DUI while driving under the influence, you're intoxicated while driving a vehicle, and you're caught, a lot of times you will have to put on your vehicle a special plate. We call it a Dewey plate. Or whiskey plate. We call them whiskey plates. And they are very obvious. And it is such just a glaring social shaming technique. Like, no one wants to be driving around with the world knowing, with everyone on the roads knowing they got a DUI. And you know what's messed up? If that person under the influence is driving someone else's car, that plate has to get the whiskey plates. Yeah, it's not good. So there's a lot of social negativity associated with that act, as there should be. But something like that, it's going to make some people think twice. A lot of people, not so much, but it seems to be pretty embarrassing. It's not something that anyone wants to aspire to, that's for sure. But yeah, like some sort of thing where that person is going to be there for you. They're your ally, but they're also there to kick you in the butt when you're just not feeling it. Let's go to the comments. Jeff Grinley says, a friend recently told me he likes to break things into 45-minute increments. It's helped me a lot. I will come back to a project later, reduce my burnout by leaps and bounds, scheduling days off too. Absolutely. Yeah, the 45-minute thing, now let's talk about this other strategy. This was later down on the list, but I think this is a good one. Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is something I have had zero success with. Now, just so I'm getting my increments right, Pomodoro. The Pomodoro technique. Okay, so it's 25-minute intervals. Let's just see. I'm going to go to Wikipedia. Now, normally I don't reference Wikipedia, but I will. Okay, so here's the Pomodoro technique. If anyone's used this technique, let me know. There are 6 steps in the original technique. Decide on the task. Let's say it's study ES6. Set the Pomodoro timer to traditionally 25 minutes. Then you work on the task. So with the Pomodoro technique, you'd set the timer for 25 minutes and go study ES6 for that amount of time. When the timer rings, put a check on the paper. Okay, and if you have fewer than 4 check marks, take a short break, then go to step 2. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, reset your check mark count to 0, and go to step 1. Interesting. Interesting. And I've tried this, and there's like a lot of variations to the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro, by the way, I think it's Italian for tomato. I don't know the relationship. But a lot of people swear by this. I can't endorse it because it just didn't work for me, but I know it's worked for other people. This could be a really good strategy for people. And I like Jeff said, now he's kind of doing like the uber modified Pomodoro technique because he's doing 45-minute increments with his work. And he said it's helped a lot. Sherry Bohr finally made a live stream. What? Welcome, welcome. But yeah. Who says, Rain says, I'm using the Pomodoro technique? How's it working for you? Sherry says Pomodoro technique doesn't work. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it really is. This is the thing, though, because if you don't adhere to it, there really is no punishment. So you have to really have some discipline with that. This is where maybe you could get an accountability partner to try the Pomodoro technique. But like I said, I wanted to talk about it, but for me, it just didn't work. Donovan said it worked for him. He said personally, it worked for him. Yeah, so give it a try. I mean, there are so many apps. This would be rad to have an actual kitchen timer of a tomato, but there are a bazillion Pomodoro apps for every sort of phone, every sort of OS. Okay, let's talk about the other one. The next one on the list. Take a walk. If you are overwhelmed, so if you're feeling demotivation because you're overwhelmed, because you can't solve a problem, because it just seems like it's too much, go for a walk. It sounds basic, it sounds lame, but this is one that I can endorse. It gives yourself a chance to breathe, which most of us need to do. It gets you fresh air. It gets you time to just center yourself. And I know I just put all these blogs on blast for suggesting that we meditate and stuff. So maybe I should somewhat retract it. I just think, well, in relation to Brian Tracy. Anyways, it really can clear your mind. And that goes with meditation too. So I'm going to have to renege my first statement about how sick and tired I am of people suggesting we meditate and like deep breathe and stuff. But centering yourself, going outside for physical activity, just getting your body moving can do a complete system reset on your entire way of thinking. I try to go outside every day, even in the tundra, even when it's freezing, just to get a new perspective. And a lot of times when I stop thinking about the problem I cannot solve, my mind, this is the thing, our minds are working when we're not thinking. We have this problem in our head that we're not thinking about, but it's still going in the back. I have solved so many problems just not thinking about them. On the other hand, I've solved a lot of problems really grinding and like writing them out page after page. But a lot of other times, I've just been focusing in the moment, on a walk, on a bike ride, playing basketball, playing bocce, playing horseshoes, than if I was just going like this. And what happens a lot of times, I've noticed with self-taught developers, this is what happens to me too. Happened a lot back in the day when I was learning all this stuff. Still happens. But we have like 4 different tabs, and we're trying to solve this problem, and we just get into like tab clicking. And then an hour goes by, and we're still tab clicking, going in the same problem. We're trying to solve this problem, and it's just one circle. And we feel like we're making incremental progress, but we're really not. It's just the 4 same tabs, the same code editor, and we're not getting anywhere. Drop everything and take a walk. I know someone has to endorse me on this statement. I can't be the only one who goes out for a breath of fresh air when I'm having a big time code issue, because my first step is to work on the problem, but if I can't, I'm out. I just won't. What's going on in these comments? Tech Rally says, yes, take a break. Totally. Paradoodly says, taking a walk really helps for me, gets the heart rate up, changes the scenery, gets the endorphins going, interacting with nature, it's great. Gabe the Fifth, I use CSS to center myself. Da-dum! Nice. Actually, since I've been working from home, I've been taking walks more. Muhammad Hassan says, I've tried Pomodoro before and it didn't work. Luke Stern, hello Candy, I'm new to the channel and this is a good live stream. Thanks Luke, welcome. Jeff says, RTC branded timer. Dude, that would be so dope. Ryan says that Pomodoro works for him. So it's very hit or it's very yes or no. It either works for people or it don't work. So thankfully you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to invest in a lot of stuff. You just download the app. I mean, frickin' set your stove timer or something. Set your microwave timer. As long as it can count down or count up to a certain interval, you're good. Okay, let's talk about, so physical activity. Also, I want to point out someone in the chat here, Tech Rally. Tech Rally published a video a few days ago about the realities of learning how to code and the differences between learning development and then going to work in development. And it was a really great video. Tech Rally, I would love for you to share your channel in the chat right now. Or people, if you don't want to wait for him to share his channel, click on, I think you can just click on his name and go to his channel. But he has some great videos, and I really enjoyed the one I watched last night. He also gave me a shout out, so I liked it even better. But I mean, even if he didn't, it's a really good video. And I recommend it for all new developers to really check it out. He went to a boot camp, I think, correct me if I'm totally wrong here, but I think he went to a boot camp a couple years ago. And so he has a unique perspective of going to the boot camp and now working in development and seeing kind of how the process works. Let's check out the next strategy. This is one that probably won't hear anyone talk about because this is something that I developed very early on in my life. For those of us who are introverts, sometimes basic things socially can be very problematic. Sometimes we don't get what we desire because we are introverted. We're not able to reach our full potential. We're not able to live our best lives because of our backgrounds, our upbringings, our genetic material, etc. This is something that I have used to great effect over my entire life. And I warn you, it is rather morbid, but I have had a 100% effectiveness rate with this strategy, with this technique. Whenever I don't feel like doing something because I'm scared, because of an emotion that is negatively impacting me, it could be that I'm scared, it could be that I'm tired, it could be that I'm being indifferent, it could be that I'm just not having empathy that day, whatever. I say to myself, the best case scenario is that I have X amount of years left. Let's say 60 years. Best case scenario, best case. I have 60 years left. And that's it. Worst case scenario, I will keel over in a few minutes. Am I really going to live with that reality and not try for my dream and not try to live my best life? That has gotten me to get on the phone 100% of the time. I do not like talking on the phone. I've gotten a lot better with it. Actually, I prefer talking on the phone nowadays, but I'm talking about, this is like a lifelong thing, remember. I hated talking on the phone. I hated that act of turning on the phone, calling someone, and hearing a voice but not knowing them, and like having to interact with a stranger. That's such a weird thing to me. Interacting with strangers is very weird. But it's like, if I don't get on the phone and talk to this person, I'm still gonna die. And I'm still gonna be not living my best life. And I gotta maximize this. I gotta make it count. So I'm gonna get on the phone and call. Make the call. Make the choice. Make the change. Make the effort. And it's worked 100% of the time. Now, the disadvantage of this is that if you tell this to yourself every day, you'll get depressed. So only use this sparingly. You will never hear anyone else talk about this. This is just this is not something I read in a book. This is a coping mechanism I picked up because a lot of opportunities clearly just passed me by because I was scared or feeling anxious or feeling nervous or, you know, any other insert emotion here. That is just a instant call to sobriety and an instant call to be your best self. If you don't make a career change, you're still faced with the reality that all of us are and all of us have been faced with over the thousands and millions of years. But if you do make the change, think about it. Think about the possibility of making that change and think about what is going to be the result of that. A bigger paycheck, a more satisfying life. Even just going over these jobs, I just pulled up some software developer jobs in San Antonio. Some people going over these jobs may say, you know what, I'm never going to get to that point. Bullshit. You're going to get to that point. Bullshit. You just have to keep going, and you just have to remind yourself that there is something over this curve. There is something over this obstacle. No matter what type of demotivation you're facing, no matter what type of obstacle you're facing. I am so glad I made this career switch. And if I didn't, I'd still be miserable, like slinging drinks or working in a government job. I have a master's of public policy. Like, no, I love what I do. And I'm so glad I made that choice. I regret nothing when it comes to making this career switch. So, that strategy, that technique, use sparingly. I don't want to make people depressed about it. I'm just saying it has been 100% effective when I'm on the fence or feeling reserved about getting what I want in my life. All right. Have we reached 9? Because I have a few more on here. The other thing I want to talk about for a strategy is to keep a journal. I guess I really don't know if some of these are strategies, so my bad. They're all methods. If they're not a strategy, it's a method. If it's not a method, it's a tip. If it's not a tip, it's a technique. Either way, these are all meant to help you level up and be better. Keep a journal. That way, I've kept a journal since I was like 8. Keeping a journal and regularly updating in your journal, you're going to be able to flip through it and see, yes, I achieved this on April 8th, 2020. I didn't do this on April 8th, 2020. And then keep a journal for a year, go back to that first entry, and your mind will be blown. You won't believe it. You won't believe the strides you made from that year. Because it's just, again, going back to that habitual thing, if you make these habits a regular part of your day, you're studying for 4 hours a day, you're building and trying to level up for 4 hours to 8 hours a day, you're going to see some serious and drastic changes. And it's such a motivating thing, even even a journal where you're writing in every night. It doesn't have to be page after page. I love writing, so my entries can be anywhere from a paragraph to multiple pages. And drawings, I mean, journals are great because they're so creative and they let your mind go free. They're also a good, just instant visual reminder of where you are and where you want to be. You can write down your goals. You can write down what you didn't accomplish. You can write down changes you're making in your life. You can write down anything. It's all yours. It's completely yours. Journaling has helped me level up so much. And I kept a journal. I started keeping a tech journal. And my first entry was from an open source conference. And there are doodles of like people holding butcher knives. I was very frustrated. I didn't understand anything at the tech conference, but I kept writing it down. Some girl was talking about Groovy. I went to a talk on Groovy. I had no idea what she was talking about. Like that. Like I kid you not. When I went to this tech conference, I hardly knew what a variable was. Not even exaggerating. And by the time that conference was over, oh my God, like it felt like my brain was going to like leak out of my ears. It was so nasty. It was nasty. But there was just so much to pick up, so much to process. I mean, I kept a journal of every breakout group, every experience from that tech conference. And now mind you, these were pages filled of stuff I had no idea. I was just writing it down. I was writing down the buzzwords. I look back at that journal now and I understand everything I wrote down in there. Every word of it. And it's just like, I never thought I could make it that far. But with a journal, it's verifiable. It's proof right there that I leveled up. I leveled up multiple times since that very first tech conference. And keeping a journal now, heck yeah, there's still a lot of stuff I don't know. There is so much stuff I don't know. And I write down things I still want to learn. I write things that I'm doing and want to do. And by this time next year, I'm going to come to my April 8th, 2020 entry, and I'm going to feel even more motivated. So the journal serves as a repository for your life, but it also serves as a reminder of why you are staying motivated, why you need to stay motivated. And the reason is because it's clear that you're leveling up. Now, for some of us, journals are also a place to write down things that aren't so great, and that's fine too. A journal, again, it's for anyone. It's for any type of experience. It's for anything, drawing, cartoons. You don't even have to write words. One thing you could do also is make a dedicated tech journal, just like a learning journal, which is what I started out with that one open source journal that I kept. And it just, the leveling up you will notice in your tech journal is going to blow your mind. And it is a really good motivational tool. Let's check the comments. Thank you everyone for joining tonight's live stream. Sammy Turner says, journaling, yes, it rocks. Totally. I know. I love journaling. I swear by it. Sammy Turner, what is your favorite writing utensil? Now, this is the true question for every journalist. Journaler? See, I myself am a sucker for the V5s. I love the Pilot V5. I've had some other gel points. They're just not cutting it. I like a good Sharpie if I'm feeling a little on the edge. But for daily journaling, oh my gosh, the V5 is just, it's like the Dixon Ticonderoga of pens, put it that way. Felix de Amico says, hey Candy, I stayed up late this evening not to miss this live. I am in Tunisia, North Africa. Yes, welcome. Thank you for staying up so late. We are talking about motivational strategies, varying from the very motivational and inspiring to some techniques that are maybe best used sparingly but still very effective. And I'm hoping there's something here for everyone. Somebody asked about the accountability partner. David asked, any beginners looking for accountability partner? Yes, I mean, for sure, great. Ask wherever. There are developers everywhere, even on YouTube. Let's see. Jeff says, I love a classic Bic pen medium. It's tattooed on my arm. Are you serious? Jeff, that is so awesome. That's really awesome. 2B Ticonderoga is the OG. That's right. Great comments, everyone. Jeff says, I used to journal all the time. I think you are the voice of the universe right now telling me something. Yes, Jeff. How would the universe speak? Yes, Jeff, I am. You must journal again to find your inner way. Seriously, though, I notice a change in my mood when I don't journal. I'm more irritable because also what a journal does for me. Now, we're talking non-technical journal, but this can also help you stay motivated. When I don't journal, I'm not able to organize my thoughts. And when I do journal, I'm able to get everything in my brain on paper in a tangible format. Otherwise, what happens is that my thoughts get into a loop and I have a harder time focusing on the important things. And so when I'm able to write down everything that's bothering me in my life, I'm able to process it and I'm able to live a better life. Able to stay motivated. Laturo Lopez, hello from Argentina. What's up, Pop K Dodge? Thank you for joining us tonight. Sammy says, I have done journals with a pencil and paper and electronically. Different experience, both useful. Wade says, best pens are the Micron felt points. Ooh, I need to save that for later. That's add to cart status. Iman, how's it going? Edward, hello. Great to see some more people here. If you have benefited from this live stream or are enjoying it so far, please be sure to smash the like button so YouTube can continue to share the good news about software development. With these videos, we're doing a live stream every night until we hashtag smash the curve. It's no longer flatten the curve. We are smashing the curve here in the States. And every night we do a video talking about everything from staying motivated to specific technologies, to coding boot camps, and everything in between. We also talk about various things in the chat, ranging from existential crises to zines. I don't know how I can add to that. Thank you everyone again for tuning in. I know I've said it a million times, but honestly, the live chat is what keeps it going. Okay, so let's summarize so far what we have on this list. I know I've probably mentioned more than 9 by now. Number 1, Brian Tracy, Eat the Frog. I'm going to come back to this book in just a sec. Maybe we'll go over a little bit of the chapters of exactly what he's talking about here. Number 2, turn off the internet. Just go up here and hit the off switch. If you're working locally, you can have tabs up with your information. You can download videos, Udemy. Most of these video-based platforms let you download them. Whether it's a niche platform or something like Udemy, you can download them to your local machine. You don't have to be online. Number 3, get a routine. Block your time. If you know you can do 4 hours, if you want to do 4 hours of studying, you want to play with React for 4 hours and get your React chops up to snuff. Block it. Block it from 8 to 12. During that time, you are coding in React. You are immersed in React. You are reading blogs on React. You're stalking people on Twitter who love React. Whatever you're doing, it has to do with React. So block the time, get a routine. Wake up at the same time. That really helps too. That was number 3. Number 4, find an accountability partner. We mentioned how tough it is to keep... Self-discipline is very hard. And most people, myself included, fumble. You know, there's no punishment if we don't get up at 6 a.m. instead of 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. But that accountability partner is going to help change that. And if you're serious about it, and if you know that self-discipline is just not at the level, try and find an accountability partner. It doesn't have to be a stranger. It could be a family member, like a sibling or your mom or dad or something. It could be your neighbor. Basically, anyone who is going to take the time to say, you know what, you didn't do what you said you're going to do today. What's up with that? Now, you don't want this person to be a total, like a really rude, but maybe some people do need that. I don't know. All I'm saying is you can find an accountability partner of various flavors depending on your needs. Number 5, now these are not in order, Pomodoro technique. We had some people say Pomodoro does not work at all. We had other people say Pomodoro works for me. This is a technique, this is a time management technique with short bursts where for 25 minutes, you better be freaking focusing on your task. This one, full disclosure, did not work for me. What was that, number 5? We'll just say number 5. Number 6, take a walk, go outside, centering yourself, go for a bike ride, go out in the woods, go talk to a tree, hug a tree, kiss a plant, get outside. It's like a sponge that washes the problem and the demotivation out of your current reality. Now, there's no guarantee it's going to work for everyone, but honestly, I swear by it. Whenever I do have a problem that's completely overwhelming, I like to go outside. That's just me. Was that 6? I have no idea. We have at least 9 here, so I'm going to stop counting and just list them off. Journal. Jeff, it's the world talking. Grab that big pen and get to it. Journaling has so many benefits. Even if you just want to do a tech journal, you're able to see your progress, and that in itself is so motivating because there's physical proof of your advancement. Love it. Also, the RTC special. Use this one sparingly, people, but use it because I've had a complete success. Remind yourself that we are here only a very short time. What are we going to do about it? What do we want to see? There is a possibility. There's one guarantee. There are 2 guarantees in life: death and taxes, right? So why not tackle the task and not have another regret? That's the RTC special. Don't do it every day. I don't know if we talked about this one, but a checklist. This is something, again, I wouldn't call it a strategy. This is more of just a thing to do. Have a checklist, write it out the night before or write it out the first thing in the morning. A list of 10 things, because if you do like 20 or 30 things, it's just not going to happen. There's no way we can do 30 things on our list, less than 10. But have that checklist of things you want done, and you'll be surprised how your mind starts compartmentalizing these things and organizing these things. If you know you have to study React, if you know you have to look for jobs because you want a job, if you know you have to make dinner, and if you know you have to do the dishes, put those things on the checklist. And for goals have to be SMART. So that's an acronym. I won't go into it here. But attainable goals need to be SMART. And I talk about that a lot. Well, I don't talk about it a lot, but we do talk about it in How to Get a Job in Web Development. That's my top-rated book on Amazon. And also, at one time, it had a solid 5-star review rating on Udemy. Brad Traversy of Traversy Media also gave it a 5-star review. Paradoodly, do the room a favor. We talk about SMART goals in there. We also talk about a ton of other interview methods and techniques, and not just interviewing, but getting your application package up to snuff and getting into that mentality of being a primary job candidate. Okay? So, let's go to the comments. Paradoodly says, checklists rock. When I use them, my productivity increases and I feel better about my life. Using checklists at work helps me get into a routine and I don't forget to do anything. Yeah, I know. I love checklists. They're so easy to do. And they make you feel, it's like, have you guys seen those oddly satisfying videos? Of course you have, right? Like, they're weird. Like, melted caramel falling into a pail. Like, why am I watching this for 3 minutes? It's some sort of brainwashing or mind control, I'm convinced. But having a checklist is it's oddly satisfying. When you have an item on your checklist and you say, so on your checklist is study Angular for 2 hours. And you can go into however much detail you want with that. And you hit check, it feels good and it's oddly satisfying knowing that you got that done. And if the task seems like just too big to handle, break it down into subtasks, break it down into smaller parts. And that's pretty much what we do in programming anyway. We're taking big problems and we're just breaking them down and smushing them down as finely as possible, and then working on them that way. It makes life so much more manageable. It makes software development so much more manageable. So if you get into that habit, you're already getting into the habit of most programmers. Let's check out the comments here. Ryan Hawkins says, I've had mixed results with the Pomodoro. Yeah, it's interesting. Thanks for everybody for sharing your experiences with the Pomodoro, because I didn't know if I was the only one who was like, dude, this just isn't working for me. Paradoodly, thank you for listing off everything. Number 8, imminent death as a motivator. Let's see. I had a comment here. Someone had mentioned that, okay, Ryan Hawkins says, I love the idea of the learning journal, but I'm not sure how to start. Okay, Ryan, I'm just going to lay it out real simple. You don't need to get fancy with it. Myself personally, I'm a fancy journalist. I like the ones with the locks and the leather binding and all this stuff because I've been doing it for decades. So I'm a very a picky journaler. Grab yourself a notebook or some kind of writing pad, something that is a piece of paper, multiple consecutive pieces of paper. You know, it could be anything. Something, but at the same time, I'd say something that you enjoy, that's aesthetically pleasing. That's why I like fancy journals, because they're aesthetically pleasing to me and they make me feel good. But if you just want to start out to just get the hang of it, just grab a college-ruled notebook, and a fresh college-ruled notebook, get yourself a pen, write today's date. Start tonight. Write today's date, April 8th, 2020. And then start writing what you did. If you're just wanting to do a tech journal, write down what you did. Write down your goals for the next day. Write down your observations of the day in terms of tech. So if you're learning ES6 and you were practicing fat arrow functions, write down your experience with that. What exercises did you practice? Where did you have pain points? And what do you hope to accomplish the next day? See, the nice thing about journaling is that you can take it in whatever direction. With a tech journal, they are a little more specific, but you can still get creative with it. You could, even make a collage. Like I said before, you don't have to have words. You can doodle and draw and cut out pictures for collages. It depends on your style. It really depends on your own style. But I think the bare basics, pen or pencil. I like pen, just saying. Pen or pencil, notepad, and writing down what you did that day. From there, your mind is going to get more into the habit. It's going to come easier. The first entry is always the hardest for anything. Like the first word of a blog post, always the hardest. Always the hardest. But once you start, your mind will usually take you where you need to go or where it wants to go. Either way, it's beneficial. Ryan says, thank you, Candy. I considered trying a bullet journal, but trying to make it too nice might get in my way. Yeah, I mean, you can just start with the dollar notebook. I've been in emergency situations where I haven't had the funds or the motivation to buy a nice one, and I've just used your typical spiral notebook. As long as you have a place to write stuff down, you'll be good to go. Jeff says, just use Word. Write with date, and when it's done, save. Start new paragraph the next day with the date and save. It can be that easy. Yeah, I didn't even mention that part. You could use, a lot of people prefer using their computers for journals. You could use that too. I like the pen and paper because it is a more physical experience, and I feel more in the moment. Whereas when I'm on the computer typing a journal, I feel distracted by like the browsers, and even if I don't have my internet on, I know I have my code editor down here, and it's just, my computer is more of a distraction, unfortunately, than a notebook. Like with the notebook, it has one purpose. My computer has like 50 different purposes. So for me personally, it doesn't work, but I know for a lot of people it does. So that's something to consider too. You really don't have to spend any money at all. Developers, Ramon says, I personally love the Pomodoro as of now. Who knows? It could change in the future, but we will see. Great comments, everyone. Welcome, new subscribers. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. My time here is winding down. And I hope people watching this tonight found some motivation. It's a hard thing to maintain as self-taught developers. Even if we have college experience, even if we've gone to a boot camp like many of us have, it's still a tough thing. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to feel demotivated about. But if we take it in smaller chunks, try some of this stuff. Shout out to Paradoodly-Doo for Eat That Frog. 21 great ways to stop procrastinating. Brian Tracy is the man. But books aren't for everyone. So hopefully there are other techniques here and strategies that you found useful. Developers, I want to give a shout out to Donovan, Sherry, my other YouTube channel members, my patrons like Janos, like Matt, like Candace, like Ian, so many other patrons that have been financially supporting the channel for a long time. Others are new arrivals, and I am equally grateful for their support. I am so honored. Thank you for letting me be a part of your coding journey. Have a nice night. Peace out.